Genocide is not just a loose term that can be used to describe any mass atrocity. It has a very specific definition under international law, and it's very hard to prove. What is or is not genocide has always been a legal question determined by the International Court of Justice, but because it's Israel being charged with genocide this time, for the courts, it'll probably come down to politics. Last year, South Africa brought the claim to the International Court of Justice that Israel's committing a genocide in Gaza, and the vast majority of global experts on this topic agree. Like, the evidence is very obvious to everyone that Israel's military arguments do not justify the level of death, destruction, and suffering it's inflicting on the people of Gaza. However, the thing that separates genocide from all other forms of unjust violence and killing is this part of the definition. Genocide is any of the following acts committed with the intent to destroy in whole or in part a national, ethical, racial, or religious group. So it's not just that a particular group has experienced unjust violence in a war, it's that the perpetrator is intending to destroy them in whole or in part. That is what genocide is. Philippe Sands is a lawyer who represents nations at the International Court of Justice, and he recently went on the New York Times podcast, The Ezra Klein Show, to talk about this. He says that it's not just a matter of whether Israel is committing a genocide. If they want to, the court has all the evidence in front of them to rule that Israel is committing a genocide. It's about the historical, political, cultural significance of labeling Israel a genocidal state under international law. Because this portion of international law, and genocide in particular, came into existence because of the Holocaust, to ensure that a genocide would never again happen to anyone. The genocide against the Jews of Europe is Israel's justification to this day for the occupation and apartheid of Palestinians, for Israeli regional militancy, for international Hasbara, and for the West's current unwavering financial and military support of the Israeli government. As Ezra Klein says in that episode, this is not so much about a court case that'll happen at some point. It's about the cultural relevance this would attach to Israel. The charge of genocide would change the definition of Israel and what it was founded on. To all this I say, in respect to the reputation of the state of Israel, considering the mountain of evidence of Israel's genocide, even by the insanely high standard that the court holds that definition to, it is entirely irrelevant if the International Court of Justice decides that Israel is not guilty of genocide. For the United Nations, genocide experts, historians, Holocaust scholars, lawyers, international organizations, etc., Israel has committed a genocide, not just by the emotional and cultural idea of what genocide is that the public goes by, but for the legal definition and the evidence to support it. And if the judges of the International Court of Justice are unwilling to cross that imaginary line because of politics and optics, they will not have just ruined the reputation and trust of the International Court of Justice, they will have done so for no benefit. Because the world has already watched and assessed Israel's genocide for almost 2 years now. To quote Philippe Sands, this kind of treatment of human beings who have nothing to do with waging war, simply because of who they happen to be and where they happen to be, is totally unacceptable, totally intolerable, must be held to account, and must be punished. The International Court of Justice won't be hearing South Africa's case against Israel for at least another year or two, and the court has no real means to enforce any decision anyway. So whichever way the ruling goes, it still remains with us, the global public, to ensure justice for Palestinians.